Okay, welcome back. So in this lesson, we're going to actually explore how we can divide an arc of any angle into any number of equal segments. So there's really two different methods here. Here's a method on the right. This is a method for dividing an arc into an equal number of segments. So you could divide it into 2 segments or 4 segments or 8 segments. Any equal number of different segments, you would use this method here. The method on the left, as you can see, this is the method for dividing into an odd number of segments, which relies heavily on what we explored in the last lesson with this curve. So you'll remember that in the last lesson we took this curve and we straightened it out. So this straight line is the exact same measurement as this curved line. Okay, and you're going to have to remember how to do that technique in order to do this one successfully. But before we jump into that one, let's do the easy one first. So for this first example, we'll divide this arc into an equal number of equal-sized segments. So what you'll do, I'll save the project first. What you will do to begin with is you're going to, I'll just go over on this side. You're going to draw a horizontal line on your page, and then you'll draw an angle above it, and this angle can be any angle you want. It can be 20 degrees, it could be 51 degrees, 70 degrees. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just gonna make it 33 degrees, just randomly. And I'm gonna label this point O or point 0. This one's going to be point A. Alright. And this line is going to be point B. So to begin with, what you're going to do is you're going to take your compass and center it on point 0. And you're going to draw an arc from point A, and it's going to travel to point B. Okay? So I've just described an arc there. I'll just get rid of the big circle since we don't really need that. I'm going to try and keep the drawing as clean as I can. There's two different methods that you can use to divide this angle in half. So what we want to do is we want to divide this into 2 equal segments, okay? So what we would do is we can use the perpendicular bisector. So you can take your compass, put it on point A, and you're going to describe an arc that travels more than halfway across the arc. And keeping the same radius on your compass, you'll draw another circle of the exact same size from point B. And where those 2 circles intersect, that's how you divide that measurement in half. Okay? And to prove that, what I'll do is I'll draw a circle. So I'm going to center it on this center point, and I'm going to draw it so its tangent meets point B. And you can see that the tangent on the other side also meets point A. So this is an equal measurement on both sides. So once you've done that, you can go ahead, draw in your line from point 0 to the arc, and you have just created an angle that sits directly in the center of these 2 angles. So that's method 1 for that. I'm going to show you the second method. Still a very, very easy method. You can actually draw a line between points A and B, like so. And then you can actually find the perpendicular bisector of that line by using the exact same method. So draw a circle that crosses more than the halfway point, and then draw a circle on the exact same size from point B. And as you can see, you end up with the exact same result. So I'll draw a line from point 0 all the way to the arc. If I draw a circle from the center of that arc to point A, you can see it also is tangent with point B. You can use this method to keep dividing these angles in half. So, for example, you can draw another line between point B and I'm going to label this one point C. So you can draw a construction line between points B and C and C and A. Use the perpendicular bisector method. On each point, draw the same exact size circle that crosses through each other. And you will have divided those angles in half again. So that's a very easy method to remember. So that's quite good for dividing things in 2s, 4s, and 8s, because you just constantly keep dividing it in half. So very simple method, very quick, very easy. Not too difficult to learn that one. What will be difficult though, however, is the next one I'm about to teach you. So, as I said before, this method relies on the previous lesson of where we had to straighten this curve into a straight line while retaining its measurement. So, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to walk you through that again. So let's just grab all of these guys, and we'll just move them over here so we've got a bit more space to work with. So the first thing you'll do, you will draw a horizontal line that's going to be point 0 on this side again. So that's where we'll center our compass. We'll also go ahead and draw any angle from point 0. So we can go 37 degrees this time. Again, centering your compass on point 0. Bring it out to the end of the line, which I will mark as point A, and this one as point B. And describe an arc. So this is the arc that we're going to divide. As you can see in this example, I divided it into 7 segments. This method actually works with any number, so you could do an even number, you could make it 6, you could make it 3, you could make it 8, you could make it 11. This method we're about to use will work on any number of equal segments. So for demonstration purposes, I will just go with the number 7 again, because it's a lucky number. Okay, so the first objective that we need to do is we need to straighten this curve while maintaining its proportion. So again, we can take a page from the last example where we look for the perpendicular bisector. So center your compass on points A and B and draw circles of the exact same size. And where the arcs cross, that's your center line. I'm just going to clean this drawing up so it doesn't get too confusing. I'm going to mark this one now. This is going to be called point C. So you've got point C right here. Now, what you're going to do, just like in the last video lesson, it's exactly the same. We'll go ahead and extend the line. You can extend it on either side, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to extend it this way. You will then center your compass on point B and inscribe an arc from point C, and where that arc crosses the line that you just extended, we'll create point D. Alright, so that's the new point that we are measuring from. And then we're going to inscribe one more circle from point D all the way to point A. This is where we're going to find the measurement of this curved line right here. And we do it by drawing a 90-degree angle from this line between point A and point 0. So this has to be a 90-degree angle that rolls off the tangent of that curve. So it's like we are unwrapping the curve. So you can see that dotted line at point B is highlighted in blue, which means this line that I'm drawing is perpendicular. I'm going to attach it to the circle, and this is the measurement that we're working with. Okay, so that's kind of what we did in the last lesson. Now, in order to divide this into 7 equal parts, we're going to have to use Thales' theorem. So you will draw yet another construction line. It can be any angle, and it can be any length. I'm going to place it here, and I'm just going to move this text on this side. We've used Thales' theorem quite a few times, so you should be somewhat familiar with it by now. You're just going to center your compass on point B and inscribe circles of any measurement, really. And you're going to repeat that exact same size circle along this construction line until you get 7 segments. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just need one more, and there we go. And I'm just going to extend that line a little further out. Just for convenience, I will number these segments. So these are the spaces that we're looking at in between the circles. So then from segment 7, we'll draw a line that hits the end of this line here. And then from there, you'll use both of your set squares for this on the drawing board to create lines that are parallel with the one you just drew. There we go. So there's Thales' theorem. 7 equal segments on the straightened line. So then what we do from here, you're going to construct one more circle. And you're going to go from this last notch here and inscribe an arc that reaches the next segment like that. And that is the measurement we need to divide this arc into 7 equal segments. So what you would do is you would keep your compass on the same radius, and then you would center your compass on point A and inscribe circles of that size all the way up the arc. So I'll demonstrate that. So I'm going to copy this circle. So this is me moving the compass onto point A. And I'm also going to change the line type on this circle here. I want medium lines. There we go. So once you've inscribed that initial circle, then you need to move your needle onto where the circle crosses the arc to then draw your next circle, and you can see that this circle is tangent with point A, and you keep repeating that pattern. You can see that the next circle I've centered on this point, and it's tangent with the last circle. So what I'll do for convenience, I'm just going to actually delete a lot of these construction lines since we don't need them anymore. And I don't want them to get in the way of the demonstration. So I'll carry on with the pattern here. Just carrying the circle. And if I've done it correctly, this last circle, when I center it, you can see it's tangent with the circle before it, and it's tangent with point B. So when I draw an arc from point 0 to the centers of these circles, I should have successfully divided this into 7 equal parts. So that method is a lot trickier than the other one. It requires a lot more steps, but the good news is that you can actually use that method for any number of angles. So I would recommend you to get familiar with this one. You won't always need to use it. Normally you would only use this if you're working on a much larger scale. If you're drawing at a very, very small scale, then you can go ahead and just measure by eye, which I would probably recommend. But if you're working on a much larger drawing, then this is the method that you need to get familiar with. So give that a go. And we can move on to the next lesson.